We have looked at the code required to retrieve the product information from the database. It's now time to move this code into our project files and integrate it with the main Shirts for Mike site. Unfortunately, changing the site to use a database instead of a simple products array is going to require us to rewrite everything from scratch. Actually, it's not. Remember when we talked about separating concerns, putting code that generates web pages in one place and code that handles the data in another place? One of the main benefits of separating concerns is that you can make major changes in one area without having any effect on the other area. For our listing pages, we separated our concerns beautifully, so all we have to change is our model code. Open up database.php in your text editor. Our code creates a PDO object that connects to the database. It runs a query against that database and displays the result set as an array to the screen. Let's change this last line so that instead of displaying the results to the screen, it loads it into a variable named products. Let's now move all this code into our model. I'll copy it from here. Open your includes folder and find the products.php file. We're currently defining our products array in the getProductsAll function. Let's wrap the existing code in a comment just so we don't lose it for right now. PHP will ignore anything in a comment, but this way we can keep it around for reference at least until we get the database working. We still want the function to return the products array at the end, so we'll leave just this last line in place. But instead of declaring an array like we were doing, let's now paste all that code from our database.php file here. Let's see, we don't need the opening PHP tag here. And let's indent all the rest of this just to make it clear that it's inside the function. Let's now take a look at the home page. It looks exactly the same as it did, which is good. We have made a major change in the model code, but it has required no change in the controller code or view code. If I click on Shirts in the main navigation, you'll see that the shirt listing page all still looks good. Even the search works just fine. All of those pages currently call functions that in turn call the getProductsAll function. We were able to change the data behind all of those pages by simply changing one function to run a query against the database instead of declaring an array. Just to make sure we're using the database, let's change our connection string to break the connection. If our code is working properly, this will show an error message. This looks right. Our site is using our code that connects to the database, and when that string is wrong, we're getting the error message. Let's put that back. Everything looks good. Before we move on, I want to point out that we'll be improving the performance on some of these pages shortly. The home page, for example, doesn't really need to retrieve all the products from the database and loop through them just to figure out which 4 are the most recent. We'll eventually need to write some additional queries to improve this. We have all our code that interacts with the database and the getProductsAll function right now. Before we're done with this project, though, we're going to need multiple functions querying the database. Let's next modify the code we've just pasted to make sure we'll be able to reuse it.